The Writing Center is a space where students can come to get writing assistance. We define writing very broadly as any type of communication, so it doesn't just have to be text on the page. It can be multimodal, it can be audio, it can be visual. But anytime students are engaged in rhetoric and the use of communication for persuasion, we will help them with that.
The Writing Center is completely positive for the community, because without the Writing Center, people that are not strong writers or grammatically fluent are going to struggle putting together assignments that teachers are looking for when submitting a polished document.
Just to get help with their writing, if they have questions about how to write an essay or how to avoid plagiarism, or if they just want to improve their writing in general.
They're really good. They do provide me with a lot of help with my writing, and they do go through my whole paper and explain to me what I need to improve for next time, and then actually I use that for the next paper incoming.
It's more than just assisting students with communication, but it's really about teaching them to be better communicators and better writers. I use the term writing and communication almost interchangeably. It's about teaching students how to become more efficient and more effective communicators. The idea would be so that someday they really don't need a writing center, but that's not going to happen, but that would be our dream.
As a student, I get to have an objective point of view in taking apart or picking at, constructively criticizing my work in order to improve it and submit the best possible outcome of an assignment.
We focus on the students' writing ability. If they have any errors, we teach them how to improve that. We give them examples.
You create a connection with your tutor, with the Writing Center on Twitter, and you have good positive feedback with them, and they do help you whatever through your paper.
The Writing Center, in my perspective, is kind of like that central hub where we can touch on all forms of communication, and we can help students through their education become more effective communicators, thereby improving education, thereby improving communication, and you can see how it becomes cyclical like that. So that's the main reason I think a university needs a writing center, is because everyone's engaged in communication, it's collaborative, we need that type of space.
They should come to the Writing Center because this is a place where they can be creative, experiment, ask questions openly. Nobody's gonna actually judge them, right?
I'd say the Writing Center is extremely beneficial. I've been here as a student before, and I think they really helped me with my paper. I was very, very stressed about it. And even just having someone look at it, having another set of eyes on it, put me so at rest. Even if they didn't find very much wrong with it, it helps my personal anxiety a lot.
The writing tutors are definitely my allies. They connect with me, they listen to what I'm trying to do, not just at face value, not just, this is another customer, let's check grammar and spell. This isn't a word check, or this is more than that. It's more in depth. There's more involved, back and forth, and it's a collaboration, an effort to work together to accomplish a common goal.
I think this university has grown to the size that we do need a second space for a writing center. This writing center sees about 15,000 students an academic year. Yes, I would like to make this type of assistance available to students in other locations on campus. There's not a class on campus that doesn't have some sort of writing communication component to it, and so to provide students with a resource that is convenient and available to them at their needs, I think is really important. So as many spaces, I think we should have a writing center in every single building on campus.
I think something that stops a lot of students from coming to the Writing Center is that it's all the way in the library. And I think a lot of student activity happens on the other side of campus, especially at the Union. So if we had another location in the Union or something, or maybe in somewhere like the Undergraduate Learning Center, somewhere where a lot of students have classes, that would be a more central location, and it would just give so much more access to all the students, and it's just one less barrier in the way to getting help with your writing.
I think a lot of students who will struggle more they will be, because it's a university, a lot of people come from Juarez or from Chihuahua, some other places, and that first language is not really English. And some students feel overwhelmed, and providing writing center, it does help them to feel more comfortable with the APA for my MLA. And I think a lot of students needs that to feel like, okay, this is UTEP, this is what they need, the writing style.
The idea behind the Writing Center is largely based on the notion that writing is a collaborative effort, and it's not something that happens in a bubble. And so writing centers were really developed as a space where people could connect in that collaborative mode so that they could then become more effective writers and communicators. Students are able to come here and make mistakes, and that's really important because we want them to be able to make those mistakes so that they can learn to correct those mistakes.
The Writing Center is really helpful for first generation students because they haven't had experience in this before, and we're helping them with whatever they need, and they can't go to other people from their family because they're not familiar with this, and we are. So we provide resources for them. So I think the Writing Center really helps ESL students because they're trying to learn English. They might not be brave enough to ask their instructors for help because they feel that the instructor is intimidating. So when they come here, they're getting the help to improve their writing, and they're becoming more confident in their work when they're finally seeing what's going on, what they're doing wrong.
The Writing Center, actually, I think we help students feel safe, confident of their writing. And I think that's the first step for students to start writing a paper. When you are afraid to write, usually you are kind of paralyzed, right? So here at the Writing Center, we give them this first push to let them explore their own ideas. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of having a writing center such as this.
Yes, speaking as a student with a disability, the Writing Center is completely beneficial to people with disabilities. Something that I've dealt with for a good 6 years, that when I come in here, I never get judged, never get a frustrated attitude or anything like that. It's always understanding, empathetic, and I just get the quality help that I'm looking for to be successful.
With a university as large as this, having a unified notion of what the Writing Center does and can do, the professor tells them, oh, they'll just go proofread your paper, which is something we don't do. Or our students will just email us their paper out of the blue, which is something we don't do. The other way people can support the Writing Center is through money. I mean, we need we need money to be able to operate. It's, we pay students to work here. We have costs for, paper and pens and putting on workshops and, supporting basic office supplies for the Writing Center.
Well, it gets pretty busy around finals week and midterms, so having more consultants here would just give more people to help students, and we'd move students through quicker. There'd be a little less of a wait time, and then of course that's more options for students to get feedback on their papers as well. So if you wanted one person to look at it but then wanted another person to look at it also, there's more options for you to get feedback.
Not all students are strong writers, and this service that's being provided by the Writing Center is completely invaluable to anybody that needs help from a student perspective or even a professor perspective with that kind of work. So it would be a complete deficiency for the university to not have this wonderful service.